It is an atheistic religion, which is an oxymoron in a way. An oxymoron is a word that has a meaning, however, it has the opposite of the meaning in the same word. So it is an atheistic religion in the sense that there cannot be God in Buddhism. And there's a tradition, or there's a quotation about the Buddha being asked if there is a God, and the Buddha says, I'm not sure if there is God, however, I'm sure about the fact of suffering and the existence of suffering. The concept of God in Buddhism contradicts the three Buddhist seals, or the seals of the Buddha, which are self and non-self, impermanence, and suffering. So these three concepts in Buddhism, how do you know that someone is giving Buddhist teaching? They say if they have these three aspects, then you know that this is Buddhist teaching. What are these three aspects? Number one is impermanence. So the Buddha taught that everything is impermanent, and everything is impermanent on a micro level as well as on a macro level, and it's continuously changing. Right? Wow. Nothing is permanent and everything is continuously changing. This is a very clear contradiction of the concept of God in Islamic Christianity, because God is the only thing that is constant and not changing. Right? It does not have a beginning, it does not have an end. That's the first contradiction. The second contradiction is the idea of non-self. So the Buddha taught that there cannot be something called a self, or what they call sometimes the soul, because he believes in what they call interdependence of being. Nothing can exist on its own. Nothing can exist. Nothing can have self-existence. Everything is existent depending on something else. Wow. Right? So because and there's this famous philosopher Nagarjuna, one of the most important philosophers in Asia. Even he is on the same level of as Confucius. He said that he kind of thought that non-self, or the interdependence of being, can be simplified in saying that this is because that is, this is not because that is not, which means that there's always a reason that is happening before something else happened. And because of this constant existence of a reason for something, for example, I exist because of my parents, and my parents exist because of their parents, and so on. So infinitely backwards and infinitely forwards, there cannot be something that is self-existent, right? And this contradicts the idea of a soul, because a soul is supposed to be created by God, and it is there, and it does not change even when you go to heaven or to hell, or
Interesting.
Having an eternal, when you have an eternal life, your soul is supposedly still there. However, in Buddhism, there's no such thing as a soul or as a self in that aspect.
That's very, very interesting. It's the first time I'm learning all this about Buddhism. Do they have a concept of